Hello everybody, welcome back to the Panel by Panel Comics YouTube channel with me, your host Jay. Today is my Panel by Panel comic review. I have 8 books to talk about today, so let's go ahead and get right into it. But before we get too far ahead of myself, please, if you enjoy comic book content all throughout the week, you've come to the right place. Please hit that like button and the subscribe button as well, so you never miss out on my daily comic book uploads every day except for Thursday and the weekends. But shorts are posted all throughout the week. Now let's get started with the book. Coming in the bottom, but it was still a really good book. Just want to preface that we have Wade Wilson Deadpool. This is issue number 4, 32 pages, $4. This book starts with Hammerhead and him going to see Blind Al showing up because he knows that is who Deadpool cherishes the most. And I mean, it's kind of funny that Hammerhead thinks that Blind Al is a guy. I thought that was pretty funny. They just assumed that Al meant guy. But then we see the goons go in there and the place is completely just damn near deserted and nothing works except for this thing boiling on the stove, and then it blows up in the face of one of the goons, killing him right away. And Deadpool is trying to work his way out of there and try to go save Blind Al because that's all he can think about. The goons are like, what was that? It was liquid neuroxide or something like that. Can't quite remember what it was. But anyways, Hammerhead's like, I'm blind. And then you see Blind Al's glasses poking through the darkness. And she's like, well, that evens up the playing field, and starts shooting everywhere. Shoots one of the goons once, but then Hammerhead whacks her in the back of the head, knocking her out and making her unconscious. And he takes her secret diary. Did not know that she had one. Deadpool, he escapes and he runs through the flaming house trying to rescue Blind Al. And then we get the flashback back to Ellie and what happened on the plane. So it turns out that the baby wasn't a real baby. It was just a man dressed up as a baby, just a really small man, and he ends up killing the mom in that situation, or whatever it was. They steal a device, they make their escape, and they did their mission. They completed it. But Deadpool, being Deadpool, he's like, no, I have to find out what it is. I gotta see what's inside. And it was a wormhole, or a black hole, and Ellie fell into it. And essentially, Deadpool thinks that she is dead. My opinion, I don't think she is, but maybe she actually is. Who knows? We'll see what happens with Benjamin Percy in this story. But at the very end, Deadpool saves Blind Al, and we find out that she is actually the one that has been giving these omens to Deadpool. I thought that was a really cool twist. I really appreciated it. Benjamin Percy doing a tremendous job with the Deadpool book. In my opinion, I gave it a solid B. A really good book from Marvel, a consistent ongoing that does have the comedic sense of Deadpool while also having character-driven moments such as the Ellie storyline, finding out where she could potentially be, is she dead, is she not, and what that means for Wade Wilson as a character. I love the interview with Benjamin Percy talking about Wade Wilson Deadpool is the name of the story because his name goes before his hero name. It's him. That's who he really is Wade Wilson, not Deadpool. I thought that was a really good just addition to have for this story. Next, we have Amazing Spider-Man. This is issue number 28. This is 32 pages for $5. This issue starts with Doctor Strange telling Peter, hey, you remember Sirius? He's coming. Flashback to the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man event that happened a long time ago. I believe that was actually 900... I can't remember, but it was all the way back at the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man for the end of what was initially Zeb Wells' run. But we continue with Peter Parker, who is extremely tired, and I mean for good reason, with the whole space stuff that happened, Hellgate, and now with the Death Spiral event just wrapping up. He's just trying to navigate his way through the city. Has a little match with Metamorpho Man, or not Metamorpho Man, I forget what his name is. Absorbing Man and Titania. They're having like a little relationship or whatever. Then Peter goes and checks up on his space friends who are still with the Fantastic Four, and Ray plants a big old fat kiss on the lips of Peter Parker. So maybe there's still a thing, who knows, with Joe Kelly. You never can tell with those space friends. And they had a little fun with the whole space side and the Fantastic Four. But then Peter's like, hey, can y'all just go to my apartment? I gotta go do something real quick. And they're like, okay, well, I guess we'll go find Times Square ourselves. And it was funny because Johnny Storm is down bad. Like, he thinks Rayleigh is pretty attractive. And Ben is kind of like, sweet smell of desperation. We do get a check-in on Brian Naring and what's kind of happening with him with these spores and how they're talking to him and they're becoming one and the same. They're starting to take over his body, starting to take over his mind. And then Peter, they call him into the office because it was urgent, and they think that he might be the one that had this whole situation happen, when in hindsight it was actually Ben Reilly. But Peter Parker has to take the blame, and he gets fired from his job. Then we get an update with the space friends, and they're all at Times Square having just a grand old time, having some ice cream, and Rayleigh finds out that she is actually whatever that is, oh my gosh, lactose intolerant. Then Peter does the thing that he was supposed to do, beating up his past self or whatever and telling him everything's going to be all right. And then he starts having a breakdown. He's like, well, not everything's going to be all right. Your life will fall apart. Your friends will hate you. You'll lose your job. You'll meet Hellgate and you'll lose everything. And then Kintsugi shows up and gives him kind of like a heart-to-heart and tells him, start manning up and doing things better. I don't really know quite exactly how he phrased it. But when something breaks, that's his name, Kintsugi. When something breaks like pottery, there's like this Japanese art where they use gold to put pieces back together, makes it stronger than before, and it's a reminder. Our flaws, the cracks in life, they make us stronger. I know it's still hard to pronounce, but Kintsugi. But yeah, that's basically how the book ends. And we see Spider-Man at the very end say, it's all going to be fine. Just hang in there, Spider-Man. Is it going to be fun? I don't know. We'll see. Issue 1000's on its way. This was still a really good book. ASM, for me personally, was still a B. There were some building moments, some plot points to go through for the rest of the series up until issue 1000. We'll see how we get there. I'm assuming that Brian Naring is going to be a pretty big character going forward with the whole spores and everything that happened. I believe it's spores. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's mushrooms. Kind of forgot. But that was still a really good book. ASM, highly recommend that. Coming in at number 6, we have Poison Ivy. This is issue number 44, 32 pages for $4. We continue seeing the slow demise of Pamela as things are piling onto her plate at a rate that she just can't keep up with. Whether it's the Parliament of Trees who want her dead, or the city slowly turning on her after she has been going on this killing spree. She meets up with this lady who has her office removed after budget cuts. So she goes to the city council and says, hey, these budget cuts that the last mayor did, we're not going to do them. And they start writing up these impeachment letters on their laptops. Basically, Pamela starts threatening the city council. That gets out, and she gets some bad news saying that there was this hit piece on her. Mayor Eiley threatens city council into compliance. They just have a really bad. She's in a really bad state. So she goes to the Den, the place that wrote the hit piece on her, and she's like, "Hey, who was the writer that did this?" They direct her to him, but he's like, "Hey, that's a real story. I don't run this place, and the boss wanted a few changes before it went to the press. But why do you think they're letting you pile up the bodies of your enemies, consequence-free? Savage, the GCPD, the billionaires, they want you to walk yourself off a cliff. And if you hesitate when you get to the edge, they're going to push you off." And Pamela, she understands in hindsight. She's like, I was too angry to understand what he was trying to tell me. Or maybe I was just in too deep to turn back. Either way, it didn't stick. So she goes to the manor of the dude that owns the Den, the newspaper outlet that wrote the hit piece on her. She ends up killing the dude. Then Batman comes and pays Janet a visit, telling her, you need to tell Pamela that she needs to resign, or else something bad is going to happen. She can leave and nothing will happen, or else things are going to get very bad. She then goes and feeds the dead body to the Parliament of Tree, the Hill, or Mr. Hill. And it looks like that's the area that we're going to go slowly down towards. The slow demise of Pamela resulting in, I believe it's Batman something seeds, bad seeds. Some sort of event is happening with Batman and Pamela and Vandal Savage and all of Gotham. We're heading towards a huge event with Gotham City. this was still a really good issue from G. Willow Wilson. I gave it a solid B+. One of the better books from DC this week. Not a whole lot from DC this week, but there is some DC books coming up later. This is not a DC book. This is another Marvel book. We have Fantastic Four. This is issue number 10, 32 pages, $4. This comes in at 5th place. We start with Scarlet Witch stopping this alien invasion with the help of Bullseye. Basically, she's just helping everything not go crazy until the Fantastic Four arrive. And when they arrived, they brought the Invincible Woman with them as part of their help to save Earth with this alien invasion. Because they know that she's so crazy, she'll just start killing all the aliens as well. Then, eventually, the Fantastic Four start trying to take her down after some help from Wade Wilson, Deadpool, and Logan Wolverine. And that was a good little comedic bit of the story. But the Fantastic Four, they trap Invincible Woman inside of this little circle. She's like, "That? Do you think that's actually going to save you?" She doesn't realize that she's in a circle. She goes like completely bombastic and blows herself up. And since she was trapped in this circle, all the damage comes back onto her, and she gets put into a coma-like state. She's not dead, but she's on the brink of it. So the Fantastic Four, they've defeated the Invincible Woman for now. Who knows when she'll come back up, but they, at the end of the day, they won the battle, and they realize, hey, we actually still have one more thing to do. We have to go save Galactus, who Invincible Woman started this whole thing with, taking out Galactus. They go there and they see he has this massive black hole in his chest, and they're trying to light him up, do everything that they can, but then Galactus touches Sue Storm and gives her the power cosmic for just a little bit longer, and she blasts this beam into Galactus and ends up saving him, killing the black hole and saving the universe, because everybody knows Galactus is a constant. You have to have Galactus if you want a world. It's just kind of the yin and yang. Then the issue ends with Sue and Ben having a heart-to-heart where Sue felt like she was really similar to the Invincible Woman. And Ben's like, "No, you're not. You're much better than that." And then she pulls out this compass after Ben leaves, and it keeps going back and forth from north to south. Not quite sure what that means, but Fantastic Four was a solid B+ for me. It comes in 5th place. A really good Marvel book. They had a really solid week. I liked a good majority of what came out from them. Next, we go over to Image. We have Royals. This is issue number 2, 40 pages for $5. This is a really good book from Derek Kurt Kim. We see Paul, one of the 2 twin brothers in this series, on this date with this girl named Mina. And while on the date, his brother Castor keeps telling him to come back home since he has these 2 girls back over at their place. And he's like, "Hey, you need to come help me out here a little bit." But whenever Mina starts getting a little too close and starts feeling too good, she's like, "Hey, I actually need to go. You don't know anything about me. I don't know what I'm doing here." But then Paul sends him this photo of him with these women. And Mina sees it and she's like, "Okay, bro, you should probably go back home." And Paul's like, "No, wait. I didn't mean for that to happen. Why me? And then these gangsters show up, and they're the ones from the casino, the ones that are the leaders of the Bloody Cox or whatever it is. And they're like, "Hey, where's our money? You need to bring us back our money. I'm not going to ask you again." Then they chase Paul all throughout Seoul. I know some people didn't like the paneling. I think it's pretty okay. I don't really mind the white borders. It's kind of helps me actually go from scene to scene instead of just like the, I guess, caged off paneling is the best way to say it. But it was really good. And then Castor falls asleep, and we actually see those women. They end up robbing Castor. All that money that they won from the poker tournament, well, they lost because the girls ended up robbing from him. The leader goes and finds out Castor. He's like, "Hey, where's the money? Show me where it is." And Castor's like, okay, calm down. After Paul gets thrown through a window. And the money's not there because the woman robbed him. So they take those 2 brothers captive, the Bloody Cox. And Castor and Paul, they're not on talking terms. Paul is not talking to Castor whatsoever, even though Castor is trying to tell him, "Hey, what's going on?" Or, "What, are you okay? Just tell me that you're doing okay." But the gang just wants to know how they did it. How did they cheat their way into winning the poker tournament? And they don't reveal anything until this chicken comes out named Jean-Claude Van Damme. They put these metal claws on him, and then they pester Castor and like, hey, you're gonna tell us what's gonna happen, or else this chicken is gonna claw your face out and kill you, and he won't stop until he knows that you are dead and ripped to pieces. But then Paul, he's like, finally, we're telepathic. He lets the secret out. They're like, wait, what? No, that's not real. And then they slowly prove it that they are telepathic, and the leader comes up with this idea for them to get out of the situation that they are. You see that church across the street? Yeah, that's the church that I grew up with since I was a kid. There's this device that I want you to steal from them. It's priceless. It's only on display once a year, and I want you to go ahead and steal it for me. And they said, if you don't even think about trying to escape, because I have Mina, that girl that you were on a date with. I have her trapped in this cage, and if you do anything, I will hurt her. So that kind of leaves you with the reason for why they have to do this. They can't just leave, because he still feels a good appreciation and still likes that girl Mina. So he wants to do this for her. Castor is obviously going to do it with his brother. But Royals, for me, a really, really good, underrated book. I gave it a solid B+. Next, kicking off the top 3, we have Absolute Superman. This is issue number 19, 32 pages, $5. Start this issue. It's focused on the character of Steel. We actually get an insight into how he came to be through the Absolute Universe. It wasn't anything too crazy, just being a hardworking man, had his hammer, had to do whatever he had to do. Whenever he saw brains splattered out, he had an image in his mind of a different person or a different thing. Not quite sure what that is yet, but we'll probably learn more about who that is and what his hatred for this person or thing is. Then we continue with the fight of Shazam and Superman, or Black Adam, whatever you want to call him. In the Absolute Universe, he's known as King Shazam. To us, he's known as Black Adam because that's the character of Black Adam. Everything that they have him described as is to a T Black Adam. But then Ra's al Ghul is like, hey, you need to slow it down. It's my fault. I'm the reason that you are the way you are. And that's all that Shazam needs to hear. And he ends up killing Ra's al Ghul. And Talia is like, what in the world is going on? Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. I did not see King Shazam killing Ra's al Ghul. I thought maybe he would damage him severely, brutalize him, not just straight up kill him. And then Talia, Superman, and Lois have a moment, and Talia says that maybe they aren't so different with Superman, with Lois and Talia. And Lois is like, shut the hell up, Talia. Then we continue on with this battle between King Shazam and Superman. They get into this massive fight. Steel helps Superman, and then Hawkman shows up, and he looks like he's going to help King Shazam. He's going to be on his side. So it looks like we're going to end up getting a 2-on-2 fight in the next issue, I assume. This is still a really, really good book. Jason Aaron killing it with the Absolute Superman character. I personally just wish that the artwork was a little better. I'm not a big fan of Sandoval's action scenes, but overall, I still give Absolute Superman a B+. It's still the third best Absolute title going. My top 3 is Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, and then Absolute Superman. Let me know what you guys' top 3 is for the Absolute titles in the comments below. Continuing on, we have issue number 2, Daredevil, issue number 2. This is my number 2, Daredevil number 2. 32 pages for $5. We see Matt at the very beginning calling Foggy for help, and Foggy is reluctant. He's like, no, I have a good thing going for myself. Is this type of issue, you should call them. If it is this type of issue, you should call them. And then Daredevil just hung up on him, and he's battling. He's trying to find out who this Omen character is. So then he goes to Al's hideout, since Matt is all over the place, and he just wants some normalcy in his life. And then we transition to these 2 cops investigating these dead bodies with eyes that are not in their system. Like, their eyes are cut out after they're dead. So that's basically what they're doing. They're just trying to investigate what this could be, what's going on, and why is this happening. Who could do this? They've never seen this before. Then Daredevil can't get anything out of Owl because he does not know anything about Omen. Even with the pressuring that Daredevil does, he gets all up in his face, but he's reading his heart rate and he knows that he is telling the truth. And they think that Omen's a good guy. At least Owl does. He assumes that he's a good guy, capes and tights. But yeah, that's all he knows. And he says, you can search my place for drugs, but Daredevil doesn't even care about that. He just wants to find out who Omen is. Then we go back to these two cops, and they are investigating this ship container, and there's dead eyeballs in there, most presumably filled with the dead victims that they found, and those are the eyeballs that were gauged out of their face. Matt Murdock then shows up back to ESU, and he's given a little pop quiz. But then he's like, oh God, I need to get out of here. He said that Omen told me that Matt Murdock is going to die, not Daredevil. This is really bad. I need to leave. He bumps into the Dean, who looks to be maybe actually who Omen is in real life or in this MCU. I'm really interested to know who this Dean character is now, or this president of the law school. Not quite sure what it is, but then they found themselves a suspect, the two police officers. They think it's Matt Murdock, but Matt Murdock starts having this little, I guess, panic attack, and he nearly gets run over in traffic, but then he gets saved by a local New York superhero, and you're going to have to read the book to find out. I'm not going to spoil it. It's a pretty cool little save that the superhero does to help Matt Murdock not get run over. Daredevil has been a really good start for Stephanie Phillips and Lee Garbett. The artwork is really good. The writing is really good from Stephanie Phillips. I am fully captivated with Daredevil. That's why it gets an A- this week for the grade scale. I give it a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. Next, my pick of the week. There's a lot of great books this week. None of my buy or sells made it, but it's Batman, issue number 9, 40 pages for $5. This is a really, really good story with a whole bunch of plot points finally coming together. We see the Bat family preparing for Vandal Savage to unground Gotham in an attempt to capture the Bat family. We see the plan going down, Alfred having a heart-to-heart with Bruce, telling him, hey, you need to let Robin, your son Damian, do something. Y'all are really just arguing with each other. There's no good that is coming out of this. So then we see the GCPD slowly attacking Signal, Oracle, Batgirl, and she asks, like, hey, where's Tim? And they're like, he's on a sabbatical. He's in a relationship, Tim Drake. And it's kind of interesting that they're like, oh, cool for him, after they haven't been allowed to, or Stephanie wasn't really. It's interesting with her relationship situation. I'm not the biggest fan of Stephanie Brown, but we've seen her kind of coming along slowly but surely. And then Tim Drake, he sees the commotion going on outside, and it looks like he wants to help, but he doesn't. Instead, the plane goes down. Oracle / Barbara Gordon is in the eyes, in the skies. The rest of the Bat family, minus Tim Drake, who we just saw, they try to outrun the GCPD. But one member of the Bat family does end up going down after Batman helps the rest of them try to escape. But it's ultimately revealed that this was the plan all along. One of them to get captured, and we need to blow up the Wayne Manor. So Wayne Manor gets blown up by Damian Wayne. I can't believe that they really just did that. Wayne Manor is no more. That was absolutely insane. And one of the Bat family does go down, but you're gonna have to read this book to find out. In retrospect, it was pretty obvious who was gonna go down. Just because of one of the books that is about to come out, it makes more sense why that character was in jail, or is going to be in jail. But Matt Fraction is killing it with this story. I gave Batman an A. It is my pick of the week. But guys, let me know down in the comments what your pick of the week was, and make sure you stay tuned in for Tuesday's top 10 and Wednesday for my new comic book day vlog. But guys, remember, keep reading those comics panel by panel, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend.